Who dat?
It's just me, unfortunately.
Ah, we can talk about all kinds of things, just
The
like yesterday.
bimbo has arrived.
Jeez, I should come up with a nickname.
Oh, geez. How have you been since yesterday?
Well, I spent practically the entire day studying investing patterns,
Studying
and
which
this
patterns?
um, options trading patterns.
Oh, I
Actually,
see.
financial futures. I've been really studying futures a lot. Did you know? I just learned that even though there's billions of dollars being spent in the market for stocks or whatever, every day in the futures market, there's over a trillion being spent.
Wow.
It's a much bigger market there. So I'm curious about it because that means there's a lot more liquidity and a lot
Yeah.
more leverage.
Yeah.
So
Ay, ay, ay.
yeah, just trying to look
Sorry,
at
my
various
dog
different
just
options. Oh,
barfed.
what? Uh-oh.
My
Wait.
dog just barfed water.
Oh, water is not a problem.
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere. She just like walking and then oh geez.
Water is only like what, a 10-second little wipe up, a little bit of spray.
Yeah,
So
it's a little mucusy, but
yeah.
ugh.
Well,
I'm sorry, Clip. She's looking at me like, oh, I'm sorry. Anyhow, all right, what are we going to talk about today?
I have a list. But you and I can always go wander everywhere. By the way, yesterday session I did not post.
Okay, yeah, that's probably a
So
good idea.
it's not gonna go anywhere.
Okay, yeah.
And here's what we could do. If we end up not talking anything too private, I'll just let the recording go. If we do, then I can stop the recording and then start another one when somebody else joins.
Yeah, sounds good.
That seems like that would be an easy way to handle things.
Yeah, for sure.
So, because I've been studying some investment patterns, I still have a stack of notes, but I haven't really reviewed them very carefully. I could go do that now. Let's
For
see. For, this
collaborology,
particular session, yeah, for this particular session. What I've
I've
been really
read
doing is
some.
I've been doing, sorry, go ahead.
I've read somewhere that the market was kind of tanking, that we're going to go into a
Oh,
recession again.
jeez, it really tanked. That's why, even though about a week or so ago I was pretty happy because I'd regained some of my losses from the two previous months, this
Uh-huh.
past week just wiped me out again.
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay. I mean, stupid idiot in chief decides to do trade war with China, and what could be worse for the economy?
Yeah, I agree.
Ay, ay, ay.
I know. Ah.
Man, it's tough. It's we don't get anywhere really talking about it. Somebody just has to step up. And actually, a small encouraging movement is I'm seeing more indications of people pushing back. Initially it was just ALC and Bernie. Now it's Gavin and Jasmine Crockett. And then now we've got Portland pushing back, and we've got Chicago and Pritzker pushing back. And now we got rumors that Republicans say, hey, once we get a real vote on the floor, there's going to be some Republicans also voting to release the Epstein file. So there seems to be a rumble that people seem, let's say, dissatisfied with Trump.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just took too bleeping long. Why do people need this much chaos before people act? We're not even sure yet whether they can act. Actually, when I was going through a political science class 30 or 40 years ago, the teacher said the US has a reputation in the international community. And he called it this: the international community likes America. This is 30 or 40 years ago. Because eventually, America does the right thing, but only after doing everything else.
Yeah,
And I thought, yeah, well, that's not a great reputation.
I know. I think a couple of years ago, I had mentioned that I feel like America is kind of like a teenager. We're a very young nation, and we make mistakes like that a young nation does.
Well, I think you are right. I think that, so long as we coddle to this me first attitude, this nation will never grow up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Because this me first is always the, zero sum game. Haha, I win, you lose. And that level of arrogance, which I think you and I do recognize, not all cultures exhibit that.
Yeah.
Hint, hint.
Uh-huh.
But this, win at all costs, winning is everything. Me, thump my chest, it's all about
Right.
me. I'm the brave one. I'm the courageous one. I'm the blah blah blah. I can get it done, blah blah blah. Can't you recognize toddlerism in that? You call it
Oh,
adolescence. I think
absolutely.
that's a little bit too generous.
I don't know though. Some kids are a lot better than adults these days.
Some high school kids are better than adults.
Yeah.
When I was teaching music, and you can probably share some stories about dance too, but my favorite age group to teach was 10 to 13-year-olds. They'd
Yeah.
already lived a little bit of life. They've already gone through some schooling, some education, some possible martial arts or, sports or whatever. So they learn a little bit about non-academic topics and about, how to get along with people. And if in the case of music, they've probably been taking a few years of classes already. So they're not just beginners, they're sometimes pretty good. And most importantly, right around 13 is when the hormones hit, and then they get super distracted. But 10 to 13, I felt was really good age to teach.
Yeah.
That was just my impression.
Mine was high school age. That was my favorite to teach because they've grown up just a little bit more. They're going through their rebellious stage. Um, Ori Tahiti was naturally something that was rebellious, in this climate, just because it's not something that's number one traditional, and especially for women, it's not something at the time that a lot of women did. So it was liberating, and it fulfilled so many things: the rebellion, the liberation of your body, and I think a lot of instead of fearing for their body, a lot of young women absolutely started loving their body, and then, of course, the athletic portion of it, you can't beat. You can't beat a nice young body, able to do a lot of things that, older adults can do. And at the same time, like I really enjoyed that mentorship too, providing the mentorship to the younger um, people. It's something that now I see the opposite from my kids. Like they see me as the parent now and not the mentor. They don't disclose any secrets to me like the teenagers back then did. So um, it was nice to be a safe place for young women, or teenagers, teenage women, or not teenage women, teenage girls.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that that kind of community and teachings gave them more confidence in dealing with men slash boys?
100%. 100%. You know, um, they felt safe. They felt seen, oftentimes heard. They're still trying to figure out their value, so I didn't really get into the whole relationship thing.
Mhm.
But once they were on stage, or the ones who, of course, worked really hard, they saw their value immediately, and used it as a reference. But they also knew that anybody who came to their show, it was like 50-50. Some of them were like, yeah, I hope so and so sees my shows. And then some were like, oh my God, I would die if so and so saw my shows. So, you know, it was that. But, even women, like adults, they feel that way too. Um, I also like their attention and their ability to create as well. They're very creative and not distracted. And I enjoyed that because there was a lot of chatter, but once I spoke up, the chatter kind of went away.
Mhm. Your classes were not just for women, right? They included boys/men.
Yeah, it was hard for me to teach. So when I went on my own, it was difficult. But when I was associated with like Nonasina or Ihitia Otera, you know, um, that's when somebody always took the boys while I took the girls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was like, which was really good. Like the group worked together, but they still kind of worked separate, but
Hmm.
alongside each other, which had
Hmm.
its huge benefits to it. Mhm.
So if it really did help develop personal confidence and ability to deal with people, that's actually one of the aspects I like about having my kids go to martial arts. And even myself, having done a little bit of Taekwondo and Tai Chi,
Yeah,
because that really helps the self-confidence.
yeah, absolutely. Especially if it's rooted in, you know, um, tradition.
Hmm.
So I know
Yeah.
capoeira had some tradition to it, but there was still a huge macho aspect of it.
Oh, I can expect.
And that's what I didn't necessarily like at the time. I used it to my advantage because of how I looked, but I see like now it's not necessarily the fruits of my labor or anything, but just kind of looking back and seeing what other people who may have not been blessed with good genes um, had gone through.
It could just be my feed, but I've been noticing that Facebook's been pushing me more MMA, UFC kinds of fights that feature what look to me like certain capoeira techniques.
Oh, interesting.
The
Hmm.
killer one is obviously to go on your hands and then, kick somebody with basically a an upside down spin.
Oh, I love those. Those are so showy,
They're
especially if you're good at
Yes, I mean they
it.
are very, very spectacular when they're executed right. Because
Yeah,
typically in the ones that I get fed on my feed, those are knockouts. Nobody gets one of
yeah.
those and stays standing and keeps going with a fight. At least not that I've seen. So yeah, if that's well placed and well practiced, that could definitely put somebody down.
Forgot what it's called. Okay, so there was the Mialua de Compasso. That was the one where where you're kicking and standing, and you're doing a half moon. And then there was the Mialua something else. That's what they called the half moon kick. So it translated to half moon,
Mhm.
and that's when you go on your hands and you actually kick.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. I remember my male luas were pretty high. Like I could put my foot up high, but that's
Hmm.
when I discovered when I was doing capoeira, I discovered that you really do have to pay attention to your diet if you had wanted to like um, be a little bit more flexible. I
Hmm.
realized that like I would have had to be like a pescatarian or a vegetarian or something and train a lot to gain a little bit more flexibility. It was really interesting.
Yeah, I've noticed my flexibility really go downhill in the last 10 years, mostly
No.
because I've been very, very irregular with my Tai Chi practice.
Hmm.
That's one thing I really have to get back to. I keep saying that. I've been stretching more though.
Yeah, I've been moving more. Now I have to, go from moving to stretching. I wanted to get the movement down first.
Speaking of kicks, did I tell you the story about the only time I've ever had to use Tai Chi to maintain safety?
No.
This is probably 10 or 15 years ago. This is still back when I was living in California. And a couple friends of mine decided to go, and oops, there's an alarm going off. Let's turn that off.
I can't hear it.
Okay, I just turned it off. Anyway, this is probably, I don't know, okay, yeah, it's 14 or 15 years ago because I remember it was when Andrew Luck. I don't know if you remember that name. He was like a freshman quarterback at Stanford, and he was a phenomenon, supposedly very good. So a couple friends and I got some tickets to, I think it was a yeah, Cal Stanford game, which is the big rivalry for Stanford. And because we got tickets late, we were up in the really super high seats. And we were enjoying the game, and the team was playing well, but very close. Cal was really playing well. Our defense was not really holding them. But off to my right, probably 30 or 40 yards away, I noticed this one guy, probably very drunk, was getting in people's faces and just yelling at them. I couldn't tell what he was yelling at them, but he was really just annoying people. He wasn't hitting them. He wasn't really physically, doing any altercation with them, but he was getting right in their faces. And I don't know about you, but if you have a drunk get right in your face, like, 1 or 2 inches away, yelling at you, you can smell their breath, and it's not very pleasant, right?
No. Yeah.
So eventually he worked his way to me. And by that time, I had stood up because I was trying to see what was going on. And when he got that close, there's, I don't know if you remember seeing, there's a movement in Tai Chi where you sort of move your hands in big circles, both hands
Yes.
together. It's kind of like
Yes.
the movement is called circle hands like clouds. Well, what it turns out is I had enough distance that I could easily grab a hold of the guy's right wrist with my right hand. And the way you apply that is you take your left palm or hand and put it on his right elbow. And if you do that and you have enough pressure, you use the elbow joint against him. So you cannot bend it. So you're using your right wrist and your left hand to keep his arm straight, which means if he tries to come at you, you've got two hands basically keeping him away. So he can't really turn towards you. So it's a
Right.
very easy way to control someone. So if I just apply a little bit of pressure, and just circle my hand, like my right hand going down and to the left, and my left hand going up and to the right, doing that circle there, basically it's
Hmm.
keeping his front away from me and keeping his shoulder away from me.
Right.
And this is not even something I'd ever practiced in class. It just sort of came very naturally. I just thought, okay, let me grab this guy's wrist. Let me hold my hand here on his elbow. Wait, sorry. No, I had seen that applied in class one time, but it's not something we regularly practice. So even though he tried to get back and turn against the pressure and get back in my face, I was able to walk him about, 8 or 9 or 10 yards away, and then made sure that he was not trying to turn around anymore. All this time, he was still yelling at me.
Yeah.
And I made sure that he was still like not going to come back, and then I let him go. So I didn't hit
Right.
him, I didn't make him fall. I didn't push him down. I didn't kick him. I just sort of de-escalated.
Yes. Yeah.
And I made sure that I was still looking at him, and he knew I was still looking at me. He was still looking at me. I was looking at him. And after about 1 or 2 seconds of that, he walked away.
Good.
And he didn't yell at anybody after that. Not that I noticed.
Yeah.
So
Good.
I thought, that to me was unconscious, really. I didn't plan
Right.
it. I didn't think that, am I going to hit him? Am I going to kick him? Am I going to, do something with him? Am I going to break his finger? Am I going to strangle him? I didn't think anything of that. Just, whatever presented itself, and his arm was right there, just presented itself. So I just used it to control him. And I thought, wow, that was the first time I had noticed that if you just practice, then more things become possible in the moment.
Yeah.
That's when I really
That's
learned that lesson.
nice. Wow. That's very it sounds very common,
You know,
a
I
calm bite.
yeah. There's a site on Quora. It's kind of like an early form of Reddit, but Quora is where you're supposed to be able to just, look up questions. So there was
Yes.
some guy on Quora that said, "Hey, is Tai Chi effective? Has anybody really used Tai Chi in a fight?
Yes. Yeah.
Because a lot of people think Tai Chi is not usable."
Yeah.
And so I posted this story to Quora, and it got like 30 or 40 likes, and one comment which was particularly good was exactly what you said, which was, hey, it was calm, it de-escalated, nobody got hurt. That was exactly the right way to de-escalate. So I really appreciated
Yeah.
that comment, and that's
Yeah.
what I appreciate about Tai Chi. And in that sense, it really is a defensive martial art.
Right.
There's a saying I just have to add here, which is, it just blew my mind when I first heard it, is that the reason you practice this two hands touch thing, which looks really slow, it looks like it's a form of dance, but it's really just to get a sensitivity to someone's movement, someone's stiffness,
Hmm.
someone's center of gravity. The notion is this. You want to get so sensitive to be able to feel where a person is coming from and how they're grounded and how they're moving that you apply the self-defense notion of, if my opponent does not move, I do not move. If my opponent moves, I move
Right.
first. And I thought, yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Nice.
Right? It sounds, woo woo, but you really do get to that sense. Now, this is back when I was practicing a lot. I probably need to practice to get back to that level of sensitivity. But I really like that philosophy.
Yeah.
One thing I'm curious about. When I watch some of your videos or other videos of Tahiti or a Tahiti, it seems like there are several people on stage, but they're not typically touching or paired up in some way. Is that true, or is this just the type of
Yeah.
dance that I'm watching?
Absolutely. The only time that they're really paired up is if you have like a couples dance, or you can even say that if you put certain formations in, that would be a pairing. Right? Normally,
Like
they,
six guys and six girls,
yeah,
and they would have to
that
like
would be,
circle around each
yeah,
other and that sort of thing.
yeah.
But do they actually hold hands, or are they actually holding waists, or are they actually holding back?
No, no.
Okay.
Very rarely in formation do people do that, but couples do that all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would think so, but I haven't seen much of that. Maybe I'm just not looking at the right videos. I'm not in
No,
search of, it's just I've just looked at a few.
yeah, I'll show you some really good couple dances. Um, I might be a little biased to my own dance group, but Nona Cena had one of the best couple dances.
Mm.
Um, I remember watching even. a couple of weeks ago, and just being blown away by some of the couple dances that my group did.
And I would expect, even though I haven't seen it, it gets pretty romantic and pretty sensuous.
Very sensuous. Not as sensuous as nowadays. I've seen some stuff nowadays, but back then it was definitely very sensual. I like it. I don't think there's anything wrong with sexuality, sensuality.
No, I think people get too repressed when it comes to these kind of topics.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the only thing, of course, that I don't like about it is the perversion of it. And definitely do not like when religion is inserted into, like sex is a bad thing. How do you think we all get here?
Yeah.
So, and I do think that people who have a problem with sensuality on stage, that they have some sort of an inner perversion.
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe I'll meet somebody who can um, tell me otherwise. But when people are very disturbed by, like Brazilian samba, where the girls like basically wear nothing and they're just, dancing. Um, I know a couple of people when I did my fundraising event, a couple of people like really did not like that. And they were both religious, and I almost wanted to ask them if there was something perverted about their thought process. Like really. One of them was a pastor too. I'm like, do you have some sort of weird perversion? Like if you like if I want to be really honest, I just want to ask people like these people, do you watch a lot of porn? Do you gravitate towards that? Like, why do you find this really offensive? Do you know, is there something that you're trying to suppress? And I know that would greatly offend people. So,
And you
but
know the answer to that question is yes, right?
of course, but yeah, like, do you have a rapist mentality? What's going on, Pastor? It's fucked up for me to
Or
say, but
worse.
it's got to be said.
I mean, why is it that the preponderance, it seems, of child abuse, both sexes, seems to be in churches?
Yeah, exactly, because what we're talking about, the suppression.
Exactly. It's got to go somewhere.
Yep.
You know, the very first time I saw a picture of Mike Johnson, okay, two impressions. Number one, he looks like a teenager. Number two, and this could be just me and my stereotypes, but yes, I doubt that this guy is heterosexual.
If you look
Have you
at
looked?
gay as fuck.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna get a
Sorry.
lot of flack for saying that. Obviously it's non-PC, but when you hear about so many
Oh my
Republicans being on
gosh.
Grindr and so many Republicans having troves of child pornography, or worse yet, being indicted and convicted of either sex trafficking or sex with minors, it's too much of a pattern.
Hello.
Yeah, sorry. Could you not hear me?
Testing one, two, three.
Are you not able to hear me? I've been in one place this whole time. Have you not been able to hear me? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
I've
Are you
been here
there?
the whole time. I've been here the
I
whole time.
know. Like, it was like you would
Okay, you're still dropping in and out.
talk as well, da, 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 and oh, hold on. I think it's me. Damn
Yeah,
it.
because I was not moving.
It's me. Yeah, no, I wasn't moving too, but I'm looking at my bars, my signals, and they're not as strong as they normally would be. So I
Ah,
think this
okay.
something going on
Ah, okay. So there's one
on
case
my
of it's
end.
not me, it's you.
You're all, yeah, thank God.
Yeah, I don't know how
Okay,
much of
I
that you caught, but I was just talking
no,
about,
Mike Johnson.
yeah, just how much of a pattern it is that people in the Republican Party or in Christian evangelical circles, so many of these child abuse cases, sex trafficking cases, sex with minors cases, indictments, convictions, man, you take a look at it and they're either MAGA or they're evangelical Christians or they're Republican. It's like,
Yeah.
isn't there a pattern there? You don't have to be an LLM or some super smart AI bot to see the pattern. Ay, ay, ay.
This is probably why I kind of also want to leave my sector, that the, mental health in children is because there's so much sickness. It's very difficult to process and to scale like the, um, helping people and making it effective just because it's going to take a long time. I mean, our society from top to bottom is sick.
Yeah, in fact, that's a little bit of pushback I got from some of my high school buddies when they found out, hey, I've decided to leave the country. They say, no, come on. And well, first message is, oh, it's not as serious as you say, which I think just shows that they're not paying attention. Or number two, stay and fight.
Yeah.
And the whole stay and fight business is, well, I can fight, but I can also fight from outside the country
Yeah.
as long as there's still internet. The only other way I would effectively stay and fight is if I said, okay, just speaking out, spreading the message is not enough. I'm going to actually go to either, let's say, Washington, D.C., and do something a bit more direct, or, Sacramento or Olympia, Washington, one of the state capitals. And a longer term thing, which I think you're headed towards, and I don't know if I was in a better situation, I might do, is actually consider moving into public service. Like
Yeah.
actually take on an elected role and proceed from there.
Yeah.
I think that's clearly in your glide path.
It wouldn't if it was, it wouldn't really be here in Ventura County. But I don't know anybody who would want to like take me on in another county. Just because typically you'd have to want to be a resident, um, or be a resident, um, and have that longevity. But I don't know.
Well, you
I've
think
wanted
so,
to.
but Hillary Clinton went and got herself a position in New York after almost immediately moving from Arkansas to New York. She immediately got some kind of position. So, you think that you want to be a resident to represent people, but there's clearly enough cases where that's not necessary.
Mm, yeah, I really like your route of education. I really do. I think that is effective. I think it's peaceful. It's unfortunately going to take a long time, but I do feel like if you can reach the younger people, and give them opportunities, then I think it would be beneficial for our country, um, in the long run, the long run, and be very sustainable. And I do see instances, where local government is pushing back in a big way, and they're kind of going to the people. They're pandering to the people. They're going on TikTok and they're expressing very down to earth, direct um, ways of communication. They're not spewing all of this political jargon that most people don't understand. They're saying, "Okay, we want to do this," and they're working people too. they're speaking from, I don't know, like a grocery store. They're going to places where, people identify for the where the majority of us identify and can understand. They're single moms, you know.
Does that appear to be bipartisan?
Um, it appears to be, yeah, but more leaning towards the left. If you want to, you know, think of it in a two-party system in this current climate. Does that make sense? Like, it does. The
Of
message
course.
is bipartisan, but
Yeah.
it does have value that the left, at least, supposedly have.
Yeah, I was just wondering how much people on the right had been reached and are actually participating in these kinds of movements.
It's I'm you know what I'm really trying to stay off of social media as much as I can, because I've been there's a lot of things that disturb me these days. There's a local channel. It's called Citizens for Oxnard, and one of our elected said, "Why don't we call, you know Columbus Day Columbus Day? I mean, can we adopt that for our city to call it Columbus Day?" And you're talking about the city of Oxnard, where most of the population is Hispanic, in a to just
And
call
she's
it
white?
Columbus Day. He is white, yes.
Yes.
And there are people who are commenting, so what? Da, da, da. Like, some of them are white, some of them are not. And it is absolutely disgusting what they're saying. Well, we did conquer, um, or Columbus did conquer or find um, this land. And I'm like, there's the problem.
Yeah.
It's fucking disgusting. You guys are just looking at something in history that is awful. It was the start of something absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
And you want to name a holiday after this guy after we had said this is Indigenous Peoples Day to
Mhm.
honor the people who came here first, who were here first, who were slaughtered, and I just like that bothers me so much to the point where, like, you're talking about me being a politician. I would probably spew and be like, you guys are fucking idiots. Like, there, I screenshotted that meme that you had posted where it was George Washington. I can't tell lies. And then
Mhm.
it was Trump. I can't tell truths. And then it was Trump's followers. I can't tell the difference.
Isn't that
I
true though?
wanted to fucking pin it. I wanted to put it on. I was all like, oh my God. That's the kind of leader I probably would be. And I don't know. That's a good thing because I've been taught to not spew that way. But I personally feel like people really just need to make a choice, and that's the problem. I think what I've been taught, like, oh, you have to consider both sides. You know, I try very hard to go that way, but at the end of the day, I lean towards one way, like heavily. So, anyways, there's a little bit of my spewing.
Well, I think I'm even more extreme to the extent that Stacy no longer talks to me. I don't think that there is a choice when it comes to left and right these days. There used to be, because that used to be a difference of opinion. And people could get into a debate. They could, substantiate their support one way or the other, and people would go about their day. Okay. But today, that's not possible because the
Yeah.
so-called right, that's not an opinion anymore. You can't debate them. They're not fact-based. They're not reason-based. They're not logic-based. They're
Mm-hmm.
cult-based. They're
Yes.
belief-based. They are racist because even if you're not, you think you're not, so long as you're still supporting that party, which is racist through and through,
Yep.
then sorry, you're a racist.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes.
So I don't think it's a matter of opinion anymore. That's why I don't believe in these words right and left. There's reason and non-reason. And typically, people who believe something that are left leaning, they'll typically listen, they'll back it up with evidence and arguments and citations and results and data and polls and whatever. You don't ever see the right doing this. The only time you ever see the right doing this is when those polls are made up or they're very, very biased, like from Fox. No, really.
I'm sorry, that's hilarious. I know it's sad, but I do find it hilarious. The
So
stupidity
that's
that
why
is.
just calling it left and right makes it sound, oh, well, you got to listen to both sides. No, fuck no. If the right is not going to get into a reasonable discussion, you don't have to give them any time or any discussion because you know it's not going to be fruitful. It's like
Yeah.
arguing with a, potato. Like arguably the potato is smarter. The potato at least is not spewing lies.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
So I really disagree with this characterization of left versus right. It used to make sense, but no more.
Yeah. That is the same argument I remember using when it came to, um, I disagreed heavily with my friends, just saying that they're remaining neutral between me and my ex. I remember just straight up telling them, I'm like, look, if you guys want to be his friends and remain quote unquote neutral, just know that you are supporting a child abuser, period. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it because I definitely didn't deserve what he did to me. And my children, more so, did not deserve what their own father did to them. And if you guys want to be his friend, I cannot be your friend because you know what? I can't be friends with child abuse supporters.
Yeah,
And after that, they stopped talking about him. And I still keep a distance.
good.
Like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that I called your asses out, it's going to take some years for me to fully trust that you know what the fuck you're doing when it comes to picking sides.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This illusion of neutrality is the exact point that Elie Wiesel was trying to make when he was saying, if you're silent in the face of oppression, then you support the oppressor.
Mm-hmm.
He was right. That's why I've been so vocal on Facebook and other social media. I didn't want to stay silent. And I've been this way for over a decade, probably a decade and a half.
Trust me, there's a part of me that kind of hates the fact that I feel like I have to stay silent because I got to take care of my kids, and then also because I'm representing an organization that's built on like mental health. So that's why I would prefer a number one going into land, land and dogs, you know,
Mhm.
animal and land. There's not necessarily, anything that has to do with, um, well, it can get political, especially if you want to destroy the land. Um, Dogs is definitely not really political, but it's more so political staying in mental health because you have to do a service to everybody, and I kind of don't want to do service to everybody. I don't want to help the bully.
Yeah. And not only that, that whole field is getting a lot of disrespect from quote unquote the right.
Yeah,
Being
yeah,
defunded, it's like, hey, it's not a real thing, or oh, too much of that is going to minorities, so it's a waste
yeah,
of money, all that crap.
yeah. How am I going to get an 88.3 on my grant score and us not getting funded? I think they said that it had to be a score of 80 and higher. or they would fund like the the top, I don't know, 15 people or something like that. So either their funding ran out from the top down, or um, we supposedly didn't score high enough. But I feel like at the end of the day, it was really just the organization and what it stood for. Like they could read between the lines. I could generalize as much as I could, but people can read between the lines.
Well, that was the reason I asked you yesterday whether they had published the names of the winners. Because if you
Not
could
to
definitely
us.
see, oh, you definitely could see 15 and they ran out of money after funding 15. Okay, I get it. Maybe that's an argument for what you just said. But
Mm-hmm.
if they didn't publish, then to me, it still sounds very political because,
Yeah,
yes, your organization is supporting an ethnic minority that the current administration is actively targeting.
yeah. Which is too bad because if they wanted to gain more popularity, they would support organizations like ours.
They don't need the votes. Trump said he didn't need your votes because he knew the election was being rigged. The minute I
Well,
heard him say, I don't need your vote, I knew he had rigged the election.
yeah.
And that's why I'm pissed off at people that say, oh no, there's way more support, in the southern countries than you actually believe. And nah, there's enough anomalous data. The Dems rolled over way too easily, which makes me think again that they're uh, colluding in this whole thing.
Yeah. Bunch of cowards.
Absolutely.
Kind of like reminds me of did you ever watch Braveheart?
No. That's Mel Gibson?
Yeah. It was a Mel
No, I
Gibson
haven't
thing.
seen that.
Well, it was they got a little bit political with the lords of Scotland. I think I don't remember, but I think they were the lords. But the king paid those lords off, so they turned away against their own people and caused their own army to perish. Just reminds me of that. No, we're not going in the front yard. The way my dogs looked at me when I said that.
Do they do the head tilt to make sure that they heard you right?
Yeah, that's what Eclipse did.
Yeah.
Rocky is pacing back and forth, and then Indy was scraping on the door. And then there must be like a dog outside or something. They just want to go out front. But
Oh,
I'm not finished in the kitchen.
I just remembered. I know I had offered to send you the little excerpt of my dad's memoirs. Sorry, my grandfather's memoirs.
Yeah, I
So
started reading it.
good. Yeah, it's kind of long. It's about 50 pages, but
Yeah, I
I just
saw
thought
it.
it
I was
might give
like,
you
oh,
some
okay.
ideas.
No, no, no. It was very inspirational. Like I said, I like reading. I just like reading in general. But what I'll do is I'll read like 5 pages and I'll get ideas and then I'll start writing. So that's
Hmm.
what I did. I read like 3 or 4 pages maybe, and then
Hmm.
I got inspired and then I started writing.
Well, that's awesome
Um,
because that's what I was hoping it would do.
and it did.
I was just trying to
So
help.
thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely. No, Rocky, no. He's staring at me. Yeah, I took them out on a nice long walk this morning.
It rained here in the last day or so, so I skipped my walk yesterday.
Sometimes I like those rainy days where you skip your walks.
Well, personally, I like it as well, but I don't like it when the dogs get wet and muddy.
Yeah,
You have to clean them
absolutely.
up.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how huskies are, but boy,
Uh,
if the Goldens get loose, Goldens love rolling in mud.
so yeah, I'm kind of sad that I had to um pay down some of my bills and not use my money for some of the projects that I want to do here at this house. One of the big ones is to replace the carpet with some type of, you know, wood or wood light
Yeah.
flooring
Hmm.
because of the dogs.
Yeah.
Because today I'm about to clean the carpet again and I'm kind of over it. But what I plan to do is I plan to, you know, just continue paying down my bills and saving some money. And then once my um, salary jumps up, which I'm like really working on, um, my salary increasing at least by 20,000, then I will start uh, doing some things here in the house.
Mhm. Yeah, replacing the carpet's one of the things I have to do for both houses to make them rentable.
Yeah,
I think this carpet's been here since the house was built.
that's like our carpet.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
That's like 21 or 20 years of
yeah,
carpet, which is too long for a carpet.
yeah, yeah. I hear you. Um, I'm going to have to uh, hop off because I have to use the bathroom. So what time is it? Like 9:19? Okay. I'll message you or maybe even just jump back on
Just
if
stay muted. So you don't have to say. I mean, I didn't
no.
mute, and you said you didn't hear it yesterday.
No. I mean, I could do that for number one, not necessarily number two. So,
Well, muted is muted. I'm not going to hear it
but
at all.
I'm gonna know. You know what I mean?
Hey, I'm
I'm
going to
sorry.
know the same thing regardless of whether you're gone or not. I'm going to be saying to myself for the next 5 minutes, I can say, well, I'm still waiting for Kayla to finish pooping here. And the
Exactly.
longer she's gone, the bigger I'm imagining the poop to be. Either that or it's getting hard to dig out, you know? It must be taking several rolls of toilet paper by now.
Yeah, yeah.
See, that's
Well,
going to happen regardless of whether you're muted or not muted or whether you're absolutely gone. Okay, so that's still going to happen.
well, tonight I have Max's little short film is premiering tonight, and so
Hmm.
we're going to Beverly Hills. So anyhow, um, I might have to take a shower after. I mean, you know what I mean. That's another reason. I might as well take a shower, right?
All right, let's call it a day then, so you have the day to prepare, and I won't be on record, musing about your poop, and then
Yeah.
we'll talk next time.
Sounds good.
All
Okay.
right, talk to you later, Kayla.
Bye.
Bye bye.